He touched the ancient pyramid and awakened something that should have stayed sealed. There is a rule whispered across distant galaxies: never provoke humans. They don't know when to stay down, but some species learn that lesson too late, and this story is about the day the universe messed with the wrong species. If you're watching this, don't blink, don't skip. The next moments decide the fate of more than one world. Rainer Holt floated in darkness. His escape shuttle drifted through deep space without power, without direction, without hope. Sparks flickered from broken wires. The air smelled of burning metal. The oxygen alert blinked faster and faster. Rainer's uniform was scorched. His hands were shaking. His breathing was shallow, but his eyes burned with anger. The human defense fleet had fallen today, not to pirates, not to rebels, but to something far older and far more prepared, the Targathi Empire. A species covered in black armor plates, with ridged jaws and burning red eyes. They had appeared without warning. No message, no negotiation, no mercy. Rainer remembered the screams over the radio. They're boarding the bridge. We can't hold them. Close the blast doors? Captain, we need evacuation now. Then silence. Complete silence. Rainer stared at the cracked console screen, waiting for something, anything to respond. Instead, a hologram flickered to life. The Targathi warlord, 8 feet tall. Neck armored like a spiked crown. Voice cold enough to freeze fire. Humans of the lost worlds, hear my decree. You expand too fast. You multiply too quickly. You take what is not yours. So now we take everything. Rainer clenched his jaw. The warlord leaned closer. We warned your ancestors once. They refused. So today, humanity ends. The hologram vanished. Rainer whispered into the empty cockpit. You think humans end that easy? His voice was low, controlled, deadly. This wasn't defeat. This was the beginning of payback. The shuttle suddenly shook. Warning alerts blared. A planet's gravity had locked onto the ship, dragging it downward. A blue and green world glowing like a jewel under twin suns. A living planet. Rainer grabbed the manual controls. Come on. Stay together, not now. Not yet. Flames roared across the ship's hull as it crashed through the atmosphere. The heat was blinding. Metal screamed. Trees shattered. The ground rushed up. Crash. The impact threw him forward. The world spun. Then silence. Rainer coughed, smoke filling his lungs. His shoulder burned with pain, but he forced the hatch open and stumbled outside, and then he froze. This planet was beautiful. Blue grass that shimmered like tiny crystals. Purple-leafed forests swaying in warm, gentle wind. 2 suns glowing above like guardian eyes. The air smelled like rain and flowers. It was peaceful. Too peaceful. Rainer's soldier instincts whispered, be alert. Something is watching. He scanned the horizon, then stopped. There, in the distance, a pyramid but not stone, not metal, something, living. Its surface rippled like liquid silver. Symbols glowed faintly across its walls. Symbols Rainer recognized, Sanskrit, ancient earth language. His heart raced. Humans had been here. How, when? And why were the Targathi so desperate to erase humanity now? Before he could think further, he heard it. Footsteps, soft, light, calm. Rainer spun. Hand on his sidearm. From the glowing trees stepped a figure, tall, graceful, and unreal. A blue-skinned woman with silver hair flowing like starlight. Her eyes shined softly, not with danger, but with recognition. She spoke in perfect English. Do not raise your weapon. I am not your enemy. Rainer didn't lower it. Not yet. Who are you? He asked. The woman stepped closer, every movement controlled and elegant. My name is Aaron, and you, Rainer Holt, have come home. Rainer's blood ran cold. Home? Aaron nodded slowly. Your people were not born on Earth. Earth was the second beginning. Your first home, your true origin was here. Rainer stared at her. That's impossible. Aaron held his gaze. Is it? Then explain the symbols on the temple. Explain why it awakened. The moment you touched this soil. Explain why the Targathi fear your species more than any other. The wind hushed. The world held its breath. Rainer felt something rise in his chest. Not fear. Not confusion. Recognition. Aaron stepped closer. her voice soft but unshakable. The war you survived was not the start. It was only the return of a very old conflict. And you, Rainer Holt, were not unlucky. She looked toward the shining pyramid, glowing brighter now. You were chosen. Rainer stared at the temple, heart pounding like thunder. The Targathi didn't launch a random attack. They were trying to stop him from reaching this place, which meant this wasn't the end of humanity. It was the awakening. The Forgotten Planet last episode, Rainer Holt survived the destruction of the human fleet, only to crash on a planet that should not exist. A planet where the trees breathe light, where the air feels alive, and where a blue-skinned woman named Erin says, "Human, this is your first home." Now let the truth begin. Rainer followed Erin through the field of shimmering blue grass, each step sending tiny sparks of light upward, like the planet was reacting to their presence. The air was warm, soft, alive. But Rainer did not relax. Soldiers never relax. His eyes scanned the trees, the cliffs, the skies. He kept thinking, if this world is so peaceful, why is it empty? Erin seemed to sense his thoughts. You are wondering where my people are. Rainer didn't answer. He didn't need to. Erin's voice held a quiet sadness. There were once billions of us. Cities of crystal towers, skyships, oceans full of music. We were healers, builders. We did not know war. She stopped walking, then looked toward the shining pyramid temple in the distance. Until the scourge came. Rainer felt the air shift. The scourge? Erin nodded slowly. Creatures without form, without soul. They devour worlds. They do not negotiate. They do not speak. They only consume and spread. Rainer frowned. That sounds like the Targathi. Erin shook her head. No, the Targathi fear the scourge. The scourge is something much worse. Rainer felt a cold shiver. If the species that destroyed the human fleet is scared of something else, then humanity was in far greater danger than he realized. They reached a ridge, overlooking a valley of glowing lakes and silver waterfalls. The pyramid rose at the valley's center. Not ancient ruins, not abandoned stone, alive, humming, pulse-like, energy flowing along its surface. Rainer stared. Something in his chest responded, his heartbeat sinking to the pyramids. Rhythm Erin watched him carefully. Do you feel it? Rainer swallowed. Yes, that is the call of your ancestors. Rainer turned to her sharply. My ancestors were from Earth, not here. Erin met his eyes without fear. No. Rainer Holt, Earth was a place your species ran to. This is where humans were born. Rainer stepped back. Disbelief rising like fire, that's impossible! Erin raised one hand, and the grass around her began to move. But not from wind. It moved toward her, like the world itself was drawn to her. Presence, this planet is alive. It remembers every being who has ever walked its surface. And it remembers your kind. Humans were created here by those we call the Forerunners. Rainer froze. The word echoed in his mind. Forerunners. He had heard it in legends, rumors, ancient earth myths of beings who shaped life. But myths were myths until now. A sudden sound cut through the moment. From the air shook. Rainer dropped to one knee. Gripping the ground, the pyramid awakened. A beam of pure blue light erupted from its peak, shooting straight into the sky. Rainer shielded his eyes. What did I do? Erin's voice trembled, not with fear, but awe. You didn't activate it, Rainer. She pointed to the glowing mark now appearing on his hand. A symbol, made of light. It activated for you. Rainer stared at the mark, shaped like a circle intersected by a star. His breath caught. The same mark appeared on ancient Earth ruins, on old desert monoliths, on artifacts humanity never decoded. The Forerunner mark. Erin stepped closer, eyes bright, voice barely above a whisper. There is a reason the Targathi attacked when they did. They were trying to stop you. Stop this, stop! The return of the Forerunner Guardian. Rainer backed away. No, I'm not chosen. I'm not special. I'm just a soldier who... Erin interrupted softly. You survived when no one else did. You reached the lost homeworld. The temple answered you. And now, all of them will come for you. Raynor's heart thudded hard. Targathi. Aaron nodded. Yes, and others. Those who fear what humanity once was. Raynor stared at the horizon. Above the clouds, dark shapes began entering the atmosphere. Ships, dozens, no, hundreds. Aaron's voice dropped to a whisper of fear for the first time. They have found us. Raynor slowly drew his weapon. His jaw tightened. His stance hardened. His breath steadied. No panic. No fear. Just readiness. He spoke quietly, but the universe would remember his words. Then we make them remember who humans are. The Forgotten Planet last episode, Raynor Holt survived the destruction of the human fleet, only to crash on a planet that should not exist, a planet where the trees breathe light, where the air feels alive, and where a blue-skinned woman named Erin says, "Human, this is your first home. Now, let the truth begin." Raynor followed Erin through the field of shimmering blue grass, each step sending tiny sparks of light upward, like the planet was reacting to their presence. The air was warm, soft, alive, but Raynor did not relax. Soldiers never relax. His eyes scanned the trees, the cliffs, the skies. He kept thinking, if this world is so peaceful, why is it empty? Erin seemed to sense his thoughts. "You are wondering where my people are." Raynor didn't answer. He didn't need to. Erin's voice held a quiet sadness. There were once billions of us. Cities of crystal towers, skyships, oceans full of music. We were healers, builders. We did not know war. She stopped walking, then looked toward the shining pyramid temple in the distance. Until the scourge came. Raynor felt the air shift. The scourge? Erin nodded slowly. Creatures without form, without soul. They devour worlds. They do not negotiate. They do not speak. They only consume and spread. Raynor frowned. That sounds like the Targathi. Erin shook her head. No. The Targathi fear the scourge. The scourge is something much worse. Raynor felt a cold shiver. If the species that destroyed the human fleet is scared of something else, then humanity was in far greater danger than he realized. They reached a ridge, overlooking a valley of glowing lakes and silver waterfalls. The pyramid rose at the valley's center. Not ancient ruins, not abandoned stone, alive, humming, pulse-like, energy flowing along its surface. Raynor stared. Something in his chest responded, his heartbeat sinking to the pyramid's rhythm. Erin watched him carefully. "Do you feel it?" Raynor swallowed. "Yes." "That is the call of your ancestors." Raynor turned to her sharply. "My ancestors were from Earth, not here." Erin met his eyes without fear. "No." "Raynor Holt, Earth was a place your species ran to. This is where humans were born." Raynor stepped back. Disbelief rising like fire. "That's impossible!" Erin raised one hand, and the grass around her began to move, but not from wind. It moved toward her, like the world itself was drawn to her. "Presence, this planet is alive. It remembers every being who has ever walked its surface. And it remembers your kind. Humans were created here, by those we call the Forerunners." Raynor froze. The word echoed in his mind. Forerunners. He had heard it in legends, rumors, ancient earth myths of beings who shaped life, but myths were myths until now a sudden sound cut through the moment. From the air shook. Raynor dropped to one knee, gripping the ground. The pyramid awakened. A beam of pure blue light erupted from its peak, shooting straight into the sky. Raynor shielded his eyes. "What did I do?" Erin's voice trembled, not with fear, but awe. "You didn't activate it, Raynor." She pointed to the glowing mark now appearing on his hand. A symbol, made of light. "It activated for you." Raynor stared at the mark, shaped like a circle intersected by a star. His breath caught. The same mark appeared on ancient Earth ruins, on old desert monoliths, on artifacts humanity never decoded. The Forerunner mark. Erin stepped closer, eyes bright, voice barely above a whisper. "There is a reason the Targathi attacked when they did. They were trying to stop you." "Stop this! Stop!" The return of the Forerunner Guardian. Raynor backed away. No, I'm not chosen. I'm not special. I'm just a soldier who, Aaron interrupted softly. You survived when no one else did. You reached the lost homeworld. The temple answered you, and now, all of them will come for you. Raynor's heart thudded hard. Targathi? Aaron nodded. Yes, and others. Those who fear what humanity once was. Raynor stared at the horizon. Above the clouds, dark shapes began entering the atmosphere. Ships. Dozens. No, hundreds. Aaron's voice dropped to a whisper of fear for the first time. They have found us. Raynor slowly drew his weapon. His jaw tightened. His stance hardened. His breath steadied. No panic. No fear. Just readiness. He spoke quietly, but the universe would remember his words. Then we make them remember who humans are. When humans rise, there is a moment right before a battle begins. A quiet moment, where everything stands still, where the universe waits to see who steps forward and who steps back. This time, the one stepping forward was human. The great doors of the pyramid slid open with a deep metallic sigh. Outside, the valley was no longer peaceful. The Targathi army had formed a siege ring around the ancient temple. Rows of armored soldiers, heavy plasma cannons being set into place, war drums pounding, echoing across the alien plains. Their commander stepped forward, towering, plated in black bone armor, eyes red and soulless. Raynor walked out to meet them. No fear. No hesitation. No retreat. Aaron watched him from the doorway, her heartbeat matching his through the bond the temple had formed. She whispered, Raynor Holt, guardian of Valora. Raynor didn't look back. He didn't need to. The wind blew across the valley. The Targathi commander raised his spear. Human, you survived when you should have died. Raynor lifted his chin, eyes steady. Then you should have tried harder. The commander snarled, mandibles clicking sharply. You are alone. No fleet, no city. No species to protect you. Raynor smiled. Look again. The ground beneath the pyramid hummed. Then, boom. Silver-blue constructs rose from the earth. Humanoid but mechanical, carved in the same shining material as the temple. Their eyes lit with ancient power. Sentinel. Guardians 10, 20, 30, more. The Targathi troops stepped back in shock. Raynor raised one. Hand, the sentinels activated in perfect, synchronized formation. He spoke one command. Advance! The battle began. The sentinels moved like flowing light, smooth, silent, unstoppable. Energy blades extended from their forearms. They met the Targathi line like a wave hitting a fortress. Except this time. The wave broke the fortress. Metal clashed. Energy flashed. The valley roared with sound. Raynor didn't fight from behind. He charged. He sprinted into the battlefield. Like a soldier born for war, a Targathi. Warrior swung a plasma axe. Raynor blocked with a sentinel-forged shield that formed instantly from energy. Around his arm, he counted. 1. Clean strike. Enemy down. Another came at him. Raynor moved with impossible coordination, guided by the temple's knowledge flowing directly into his body. Aaron watched in stunned silence. He was fighting like someone who had done this 1,000 times. Because in a way, he had. Humanity had always been at war. Not because humans love violence, but because humans refuse to die. Quietly, the Targathi commander roared orders. Heavy. Cannons locked onto the pyramid. Raynor saw it. His heart surged. He did not think. He acted. He slammed his hand onto the ground. Energy pulsed outward like a shockwave. The earth rose, literally. Rose, forming a barrier wall of pure crystal. Between the cannons and the temple, the Targathi stared. Aaron whispered in awe, You are not just using the temple, Raynor. You are becoming part of it. Raynor didn't feel fear, only clarity, only purpose. He shouted to the battlefield, You think humans fall easily? You think we break? Here's your lesson. We get back up every single time. The sentinels echoed his cry in a metallic chorus. The Targathi commander roared. Back, their armies clashed again, but then a shadow fell across the valley. Something much larger was descending from orbit. A vessel, no, A colossus black, spined, engine howling like a dying star, a warship of a caliber the Targathi rarely deployed. Aaron's face went pale. That is not a normal Targathi ship. That is a harvester. Raynor turned sharply. What does that mean? Aaron's voice trembled. It does not capture worlds. It consumes them. The harvester opened. Gaping maw of rotating metal teeth and glowing furnace light, the air shook, the grass bent, the sky dimmed. The Targathi weren't just here to conquer. They were here to erase the planet. Raynor stared up at the descending war machine. He knew what this meant. The next fight would not be about survival. It would be about the fate of Valora itself. He looked back at Aaron. No words needed. They both understood. The war had changed. This was no longer defense. This was the last stand. Raynor raised his voice, loud enough for armies and gods to hear. If they want to wipe out a world, they'll have to go through humans to do it. The temple pulsed behind him. The harvester roared above. The valley held its breath. The real war was about to begin. The harvester awakens. Some wars are fought for land, some for power. But this one was for a planet's right to exist. The harvester descended from the sky like a black eclipse, swallowing sunlight. It was not a ship built to conquer. It was a weapon built to erase worlds, erase cities, erase species, and it was pointed directly at Valora. Raynor stood at the front of the battlefield, armor glowing with the temple's energy. His breathing was steady, but his heart raced, not with fear, with focus. Aaron joined him, her silver hair whipping in the rising wind. Her eyes reflected the massive machine overhead. Raynor. The harvester was made during the Old War, not by the Targathi, but by something far worse. Raynor didn't look away from the sky. The scourge. Aaron nodded slowly. Yes, the Targathi found the harvester after the old civilizations fell. They do not fully understand how it works. They only know how to aim it. The harvester's underside opened, revealing a glowing core like a miniature star, swirling with violent red energy. The light spread across the valley, burning the grass, twisting the air, making the world feel like it was being pulled into a furnace. Raynor shielded his eyes. What is it doing? Aaron's voice trembled. It is preparing to liquefy the planet's crust. When the process begins, everything alive will be converted into fuel. Raynor lowered his hand. His expression changed. No anger, no shock. Just decision. Then we stop it. Aaron looked at him like he was the only steady thing left in the universe. Yes, but not from outside. The harvester's core must be reached from within. Raynor smiled a fierce, tired smile. So we board it. Aaron blinked. Raynor. That is suicide. He met her eyes. So was surviving everything up until now. But I'm still here. Aaron stared at him. And something softened. Trust, fear, hope, all at once. The Targathi commander roared orders. Cannon shifted direction. The battlefield trembled under the weight of armies. Preparing for the kill, Raynor raised his hand. The ground pulsed. A path of glowing energy formed beneath his feet, leading toward the air where the harvester hovered. The temple is giving us a way up. Aaron whispered. Raynor nodded. Then let's move. They ran. The path lifted, rising like a bridge of pure light. Sentinel constructs guarded their flank, deflecting plasma bolts with metallic shields. The Targathi tried to intercept, but the Sentinels were faster. Clash, strike, silence, Raynor. And Aaron did not look back. They reached the point directly. Beneath the harvesters, core energy swirled overhead like a raging sun. Raynor felt his bones vibrate. Aaron clasped his hand. The temple mark on Raynor's palm glowed, brighter, reacting to the harvester's presence. Raynor, Aaron whispered, breath shaking. The harvester knows you. It recognizes your blood. Raynor looked up slowly. What are you saying? Aaron swallowed hard. The scourge did not fear humans. They made them. Raynor froze. Time stopped. The wind stopped. The world stopped. What? Aaron's eyes filled with grief. Humans were created as soldiers, engineered by the forerunners to fight the scourge. You were never ordinary. You were never weak. You were never prey. Rayner felt the ground drop out from under him. All the history he learned, all the pride, all the identity, a weapon. He was built to be a weapon. Aaron stepped closer, voice breaking. But humans became more than their purpose, more than their creation. You learn to care, to love, to choose. That is what makes you dangerous. Rayner looked up at the harvester. The machine pulsed, acknowledging him, calling him. Rayner spoke quietly, voice steady again. Then let's show them what their weapon can do. A blast of energy erupted from the harvester. The shockwave was fast. Boom. Rayner grabbed Aaron's shielding her with his body, but the force still knocked them from the light bridge. They tumbled downward. The ground rushed up. Aaron screamed. Rayner reached, and the sentinels caught them, landing in a sliding arc of metal and sparks. Rayner gasped, chest burning. The harvester roared like a living beast. It was beginning the planet kill sequence. Rayner stood again. His voice was quiet, deadly. Aaron, call your people. Tell them to prepare for evacuation. Aaron shook her head. No, I'm not leaving this world. Rayner placed his hand on her cheek, gently. I'm not asking you to leave. I'm asking you to live. Because I am going up there, and I'm not coming back unless I win. Aaron's eyes glistened. Her voice was a whisper. Then I am going with you. Rayner closed his eyes for one moment, one breath, before the storm. Then we go together. The harvester's kill light turned blood red. The world began to shake apart. This was it. No backup. No fleet, no second chance, just a human, and someone who believed in him, standing against the end of a world. Inside the machine that ends worlds, there are places humans were never meant to enter, places built only for destruction, places where light dies, where hope burns away, and where even time feels afraid to move. Rayner was walking into one of those places now. The harvester, the machine that kills planets. The ascent path the temple formed rose again, this time brighter, tighter, like a beam of energy pulling Rayner and Aaron upward. Sentinels followed below, forming a protective formation. The harvester loomed overhead, massive, metallic, alive with sound and fury. Red furnace light pulsed from its underside, painting the valley in blood-colored glow. Aaron's hand gripped Rayner's tightly. Once we enter, there is no turning back. Rayner didn't answer. The time for fear was gone. The time for doubting destiny was gone. This was a human choice, not a programmed purpose. He spoke quietly. Let's finish this. The beam of light shot them upward. Whoom, they passed through the harvester's energy shield and landed on a massive metallic platform deep inside the machine. The world inside was nothing like the outside. It was silent, cold, endless, long. Corridors of dark metal pulsed like veins. Walls hummed like a deep heartbeat. The floor vibrated beneath their boots. Aaron whispered, voice echoing. This place is not just a machine. It's alive. Rayner nodded slowly. He felt it too. Something in here was watching. They walked deeper. The walls began to change, metal fading into a dark, pulsing organic texture. Like the inside of something breathing, something dreaming. Rayner's hand hovered near his weapon. Aaron stopped suddenly. Her eyes widened in horror. Rayner! Look, they turned a corner and saw them. Bodies, human bodies, suspended in glowing tubes of red fluid, hooked into cables and metal clamps. Some wore uniforms of lost colonies. Some were miners. Some were civilians, people who had vanished over decades, not dead, not alive, just harvested. Rayner's breath caught. His chest tightened. Aaron stepped closer to one of the tubes. Her voice broke. They are being drained. Their memories, their biology, their consciousness. The harvester is feeding on them. Rayner clenched his fists until his knuckles turned white. This wasn't just a planet killer. It stole people. Their history, their stories, their lives. He whispered, we're shutting this thing down. For them. For everyone. Aaron nodded, tears in her eyes. They reached the core chamber. A sphere of blinding red energy floated at the center, burning like a star in chains. Metal tendrils wrapped around it, pulsing, feeding, devouring, and beneath the core, a figure, tall, armored, wreathed in molten patterns, the Targathi warlord himself. He turned. His voice was cold lightning. "Human, you return." Rayner stepped forward. "No. I rise." The warlord spread his arms. "You were forged for war, created as the perfect soldier. You were meant to fight for us, yet you cling to weakness, to emotion, to attachment." He looked at Aaron, to her. Aaron moved closer to Rayner, fearlessly. "Love is not weakness." The warlord laughed, a deep, echoing, inhuman laugh. "It is the greatest weakness, and I will prove it." He lifted one hand, and the core behind him flared. The suspended humans began to scream, voices muffled through liquid, pain filling the air like fire. Aaron gasped. Rayner's heart thundered. "Stop!" The warlord pointed at Rayner. "Destroy me, human, and you destroy them all. Kill the machine, and they all die. Fight, and you kill what you came to save." Rayner froze, his entire body locked. The harvester didn't need brute power, it needed choice, and it had just forced the cruelest one. Save the planet. Or save the people. Aaron looked at Rayner, eyes full of pain. "Rayner, I don't know the right answer." Rayner didn't look away from the core. His voice was quiet, but unshakable. "Do." He stepped forward. The warlord grinned, believing he had. But Rayner's next words were not spoken to the warlord. They were spoken to the temple, to the force, inside his blood. "Show me the third path." The harvester shook. The walls vibrated. The entire machine screamed. Aaron's eyes widened. "Rayner, you're calling the heart's power inside the harvester." Before she could finish, light exploded. The core erupted. The entire harvester chamber turned white, and something ancient awakened inside Rayner's mind. A voice, not human, not alien, something older. "Guardian, you have chosen evolution." Rayner's eyes snapped open, glowing gold. "The human who refuse to break some victories are earned with strength, some with courage. But the greatest victories? They are earned when someone refuses to surrender, even when the universe says they should." This was that moment. The chamber inside the harvester pulsed with blinding gold light. Rayner stood at the center, eyes glowing like burning suns. Aaron shielded her face, stunned. "Rayner, what have you become?" His voice was steady, calm, but there was thunder beneath every word. "Not what they made me to be." "What I choose to be," the warlord roared, raising his molten blade. "Impossible!" Humans were built to serve. Rayner stepped forward, and everything changed. The machine reacted to him. Panels shifted, walls bent, energy veins pulsed brighter. The harvester wasn't resisting him anymore, it was listening. Rayner reached out his hand, not toward the warlord, but toward the suspended humans in the tubes. Don't choose who dies. Today, the golden energy spread, gentle, careful, wrapping around each sleeping human. Aaron watched in awe. He's not destroying the machine. He's rewriting it. The warlord lunged, swinging his sword at Rayner's head. Clang. Rayner caught the blade with one hand. The warlord froze. Rayner spoke quietly. "Humanity was never your weapon. Humanity was your mistake. You thought we were weak because we feel, but feeling is what makes us unstoppable." He crushed the blade like glass. The warlord stumbled backward. Rayner raised his other hand, gold light radiating outward. "You tried to erase worlds. I restore them." The harvester shook violently. Panels split. Pipes burst. Energy flows reversed. The machine that once consumed life was now returning it. The suspended humans were lowered gently. Consciousness returning, breath steady. The warlord screamed in fury, desperation burning in his voice. "You cannot win." "I am war. I am annihilation." Rayner stepped forward, eyes burning brighter. "And I am human." He struck. No weapon, no fire. Just a blast of pure will, channeled through the heart's power. Boom! The warlord disintegrated into dust. Gone. Silence fell. The harvester, the planet killer, powered down completely. Lights faded from red to gold to calm blue. Aaron approached Raynor, her voice shaking. "It's over. You saved them. You saved the world." Raynor exhaled, exhausted, but smiling. "No. We saved it. Together." She rested her forehead against his. Outside, the sky cleared. Valora breathed again. Forests began to regrow. Rivers sparkled. Life returned. Across the planet, Valoran people fell to their knees, watching the harvester go still, realizing they were saved. The legend had begun. Epilogue. Weeks passed. Raynor and Aaron stood atop the restored temple, watching the horizon. Colonies were forming. Humans and Valorans working side by side. A new world, one built on unity, not fear. Aaron took his hand. "What now, Raynor Holt?" Raynor smiled, that familiar, reckless human smile. "Now? We build, we protect, we explore." He looked up at the stars, endless, calling. "And if anyone ever comes for this world again, we'll remind them why messing with humans is always a bad idea." Fade out. If you enjoyed this HFY sci-fi series, support this channel. Like, comment, next series. Subscribe for more original stories.